don't think the AFC West is crazy enough yet. I mean, if you look at all the additions that have been made in the past week plus, holy crap, this is the most competitive division in all of football. Before we get to the content, if there is a chance that you missed my notifications, I created a Discord community so you can be notified every time I upload a video. We're uploading way too much. At a specific point, YouTube cuts you off on notifications. I don't know if it's on this video, but figured better safe to be sorry. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter in the event that you want to keep up to date with all your news. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Have we ever had this crazy of an NFL free agency period? I don't remember last year being this crazy. I think the year before was crazy, but lately we've been seeing a lot of player movement and a lot of quarterback movement more specifically, and hell, I'm here for it. It means more content that we get to create for you guys. So recently, if you haven't noticed or if you've been living under a rock or something, the AFC West has gone absolutely crazy. It's no longer just a division that features Justin Herbert and the up-and-coming LA Chargers, Patrick Mahomes and the buzzsaw that is the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Las Vegas Raiders, who are an interesting story to say the least, and the Denver Broncos, who haven't really been relevant since Peyton Manning left. It's a completely new ballgame after the Denver Broncos acquired Russell Wilson last week in a trade. It seems like this entire division has been in a gigantic arms race, and dude, I'm freaking here for it. Up until this point, to give you an idea, it seems like we've been watching a gigantic game of chess. The Denver Broncos trade for Russell Wilson. The Chargers fire back by trading for Khalil Mack. They also felt like, hell, Khalil Mack wasn't enough and went ahead and signed the most valuable cornerback on the entire market, and also added Sebastian Joseph Day, who has familiarity with Brandon Staley from the times that they were together on another Los Angeles team that recently won a Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs made some moves, although they're not nearly as significant as the other moves, because hell, when you have the best young quarterback in all of football and you have to pay him as such, chances are you're not going to be able to afford the team that you put around him when he was on a rookie scale contract, especially considering the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs completely redid their offensive line last offseason. Chances are there's going to be some moving parts as a result of this. So they're going to see Tyrann Mathieu leave. They brought in Justin Reid to replace him. Obviously, Justin Reid's a solid piece. He's no Tyrann Mathieu, but at least you get somebody to fill that void that Tyrann Mathieu was going to leave. It's also a miracle, in my opinion, that the Kansas City Chiefs were able to retain Frank Clark. Yesterday, we made a video very late last night on how down bad the Dallas Cowboys are after some kind of language contract forfeiture resulted in Randy Gregory, a player that they invested so many resources in, deciding to get up and leave and join the Denver Broncos. Personally, man, if I was Randy Gregory, I would join the Denver Broncos myself. Not only because they're more competitive, but because because it's a nice place. And all of this information brings us to where we are today, where so far the only team that hasn't really made many significant moves up until this point are the Las Vegas Raiders. And I don't mean to disrespect the Las Vegas Raiders in these videos, because it seems like I'm always coming in here and saying, oh my God, the Los Angeles Chargers are a super team. Oh my God, the Denver Broncos are a super team. Oh my God, the Kansas City Chiefs are, well, the Kansas City Chiefs. They made it to the past 3 AFC championships and won a Super Bowl out of those 3, and made it to 2 Super Bowls out of those 3. Seems like I don't give the Las Vegas Raiders some love. And I want to preface this entire commentary by saying it's nothing personal against the Las Vegas Raiders. I have tremendous respect for this team. After seeing their head coach resign after some crazy off the field stuff that happened, and then seeing Henry Ruggs, a former first-round pick, unfortunately get into a DUI which resulted in the death of a woman and her dog, and then watching Damon Arnett for some reason posting videos of himself himself, showing off his weapon on social media, and then doing more and more stupid off the field stuff to the point where I think the man might be out of the NFL completely. The fact that they were able to win 10 games and only lose 7 games with Rich Bisaccia, an interim head coach, is something that should be respected. And I feel like they have a situation where they need to do whatever it takes to remain relevant in this division. Well, it seems like they have done something to at least, I guess, improve their team. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Maybe you guys can make sense out of it for me, because we got some breaking news on multiple moves that just happened. First, the Las Vegas Raiders are finalizing a deal with former outside linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals, Chandler Jones. They're paying him approximately $51 million over 3 years for him to be the new right defensive end of the Las Vegas Raiders. So immediately what I'm thinking is, oh my God, Chandler Jones, Yannick Ngakoue, Mad Max Crosby that just got a 4-year, $95 million contract extension, which, by the way, we need to make a documentary on him. We're going to make a documentary on his incredible story. It's been really tough to make documentaries with all the news that's been happening so far. So once news slows down, documentaries will come back. We have some incredible stuff planned for you guys, trust me. But we're going to definitely make one on Mad Max Crosby. And then you have Yannick Ngakoue, which I thought initially would be involved with the Las Vegas Raiders, but I was wrong, because according to Ian Rappaport, the Las Vegas Raiders are sending defensive end Yannick Ngakoue to the Indianapolis Colts for cornerback Rock Ya-Sin. It's a player-for-player deal. Ngakoue was with Gus Bradley last year in Las Vegas and is now back with Gus Bradley in Indianapolis. Chandler Jones gets to team up with Mad Max Crosby. You might be thinking, Mike, why is this? I mean, it's really difficult for me to say, because Yannick Ngakoue had 10 sacks this past year. Chandler Jones had 10.5 sacks this past year. The only way I could really rationalize this is Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby like coming off of the same edge. So as a result of this, it'll allow Mad Max Crosby to play where he prefers to play, which is the left edge, which they just recently invested a ton of capital in him for, and Chandler Jones can flank him off the right edge. But make no mistake, man, 10 sacks this past year for Yannick Ngakoue, who had a remarkable season, which is the second most in his entire career since he was a Jacksonville Jaguar. I think this is an absolute steal for the Indianapolis Colts, who already have a remarkable defense. If you look at it, they have DeForest Buckner and young rusher Kwity Paye, which I think can still develop into an awesome pass rusher. Ultimately, I think this is a win-win. Chandler Jones wasn't going to go back to the Arizona Cardinals. There was no way, shape, or form that was going to happen. Yannick Ngakoue has been an absolute dog throughout his entire career. He's been more of like a hired muscle ever since leaving the Jacksonville Jaguars. His contract is set to expire after next year, so he's probably going to come out and have an insane season so he can make some more money, so he can ensure that he cashes in once he hits free agency. I give the Indianapolis Colts an A for this trade. Honestly, every time you trade a second-round pick that hasn't really even played a full season, has been pedestrian at best, Rock Ya-Sin, maybe he finds his niche with the Las Vegas Raiders. I feel like in this instance, you could have at least gotten a pick for Yannick Ngakoue. I have no idea why these star players aren't being traded for good assets. Like Amari Cooper could have been had for a 6th-round pick and a 5th-round pick. Yannick Ngakoue could have been had for a, no offense, but a cornerback that I haven't heard of prior to today. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.